Ladies and gentlemen, the following podcast is set for one episode. Your host from Columbus, Ohio, is Michael Kirk. Welcome to the Outlaw Mudcast. Hello and welcome to the Outlaw Mudcast, your digital audio dirt sheet for all things Supershow. Top story this week, CaptainCon 2026. At the time I'm recording this, it is the last day for CaptainCon, Sunday, February 1st. The last event of the weekend, the tag team event, has started. I will likely have to tack the results of that event on at the end of the show, but I will give you what I have. I will start with the new releases. The Scallywag competitors, ships, and entrances that had been announced were coming out, came out at CaptainCon. Quick rundown of those. We have 3 follow-ups in the 16 through 18 slots. Swashbuckle Barrage, Dropping Dead Weight, and High Seas Heel Hold. We have the Alt Art Commodore Terror Skull. We had a new Everyone's Enemy. We had a new Prince of the Seas, Logan Lagoon. Those are the 3 new Scallywag competitors. We had 3 new Scallywag finishes that came with the Commodore Terror Skull. And 2 new ships, the Crown of Loch Noir and the Sky Tyrant. As of right now, none of those new releases are on SupershowTheGame.com. People who are at CaptainCon can buy them. So if you want that, hopefully you found someone at CaptainCon who could pick those up for you. Otherwise, they might show up in random product in the future. Let's go through the CaptainCon events. I'll start Thursday with a kickoff event. 15 players played in the kickoff event. They played in 4 bullet rounds, and then they cut to a top 7 afterward. Pat Mulligan, who I believe went undefeated in the bullet rounds, received a bye directly into the semifinals. The remaining 6 players played for the other 3 spots in the semifinal round. All of the matches in that opening round in the top cut were New York Rules matches. The semifinal matches were dark matches. The finals match was a Liger's Den match. It does not appear that there was a third place match. Your semifinalists were Foxworthy, playing as the original version of Foxworthy, and the Cheetah, playing as King of New York. Your finalists were Pat Mulligan, using that bye, making the most of it, getting to the finals, playing as Harrietta the Bearded Diva, and the Star Maker Everett Stevens playing as the Phoenix Reborn. This match, I believe, ended up going to Crowd Meter 2. It was a Liger's Den match, as I said earlier. The winner winning the opening event of CaptainCon, the Star Maker Everett Stevens. Congratulations to the Star Maker for your victory. Friday morning, there was a tag team event, not on the Super Show app. 24 players signed up for the event. They were randomly paired into 12 tag teams. So you signed up as a single, and then you ended up in a tag team. It was a single elimination tournament. They played until there were only 3 tag teams left. And then they had a triad tag team finals match. The teams were Sam Stanton playing as the new version of EC3, and Mike Benton playing as Gangrel. That was Team 1. The second team, the Hidden Threat, Matt Haas playing as the Hidden Threat, and the Star Maker Everett Stevens playing as the old school version of the High Roller, so the second version. The final team, the Italian Bombata playing as the Grand Pack version of the Angler, and the Screaming Banshee playing as the Kenway. This was a long tag team match. It ended up going to Crowd Meter 7, which it's been a long time since I've seen a Crowd Meter 7 tag team match. The winners hitting a finish and making a finish roll of 15 at Crowd Meter 7, Sam Stanton and Mike Benton. Congratulations to Sam Stanton and Mike Benton for winning the Tag Team Random Partner event Friday morning. The match, from what I understand, was not streamed anywhere, but I was told by one of the participants in the match, this could be a Match of the Year candidate. The next big CaptainCon event, Friday evening, the Underworld event. It's an Underworld Division tournament. World Division competitors booked. All other singles competitors legal, subject to 2020 vision. 33 players played in 6 bullet rounds. And then after those 6 bullet rounds, they cut to a top 16. In the opening round of the top cut, all the matches were New York Rules matches. In the quarterfinal round, all of the matches were dark matches. In the semifinal round, they were all ladder matches. And the finals match was a Liger's Den match. As far as I know, there was no third place match. The semifinalists in the tournament were the Cheetah, playing as the new version of Copycats, and everyone's enemy Joel Williams, playing as Gangrel. The finalists were Candyman Dan, playing as Johnny T, and the headband champion Matt Pineapple, playing as the new version of Pretty Hair Piercer, the version that gets +2 to turn rolls. I'm pretty sure that's the newer version. I'm just going from memory here. The Liger's Den match does not go past Crowd Meter 0. The winner of the Liger's Den match, Matt Pineapple. Congratulations to Matt Pineapple for winning the Underworld event. Now, it had been announced that whoever won the Underworld event, unless it was Underworld champion Colby Graham, would immediately play for the LFF Underworld Championship. So Matt Pineapple, taking the deck he just won the tournament with, faced LFF Underworld Champion Colby Cram, playing as Chris Bay. This was a very short match, only 3 turns. The winner was able to get a lead and follow up out on turn 1. His opponent had to use Gets Things Rolling to get a card in play on turn 2. And on turn 3, the winner, having used the first turn to grab a finish, hits the finish, rolls, I want to say a 10, the opponent unable to break out, and so the winner and new LFF Underworld Champion is headband champion Matt Pineapple. Congratulations to Matt Pineapple for becoming the new LFF Underworld Champion. He's still on the hot seat, though, because immediately after that, a man who had a shot at the LFF Underworld Championship going in to CaptainCon, Loudmouth Leo Larynx, cashes in right then and there. So Matt Pineapple has to defend, same deck he just won the tournament with, against Loudmouth Leo Larynx, playing as the original version of Donation. This was a much longer match. Hard-fought match, goes to Crowd Meter 3. The winner, still champion, Matt Pineapple, for his first successful defense. Great story, going from winning the tournament to becoming champion to successfully defending, all in the span of, I'll be generous and say 2 hours, from the tournament victory to the first defense. Great showing from Matt Pineapple. We also, after this, had another featured match. The LFF Tri-State Championship on the line. The Norseman, playing as the original Bjorn the Norseman, took on Champion the Influencer, Champion with Candyman. This was a dark match. It was also a New York Rules match, because all Tri-State Championship matches are New York rules matches. It started at Crowd Meter 1. There were no disqualifications. The match did not go past Crowd Meter 1. The winner, still champion, the Influencer. Congratulations to the Influencer for a successful defense. Now, there have been rumblings that Candyman would like to challenge the Influencer, Candyman competitor versus Candyman competitor, for the LFF Tri-State Championship. I have not heard if that match happened, has happened, but it's something that we might see happening soon. That is still a developing story as I'm recording this. The final featured match of Friday night, and both Friday night and Saturday night play continued past midnight, but I'm still going to call this Friday night, and when we get to Saturday and that happens, I'll still call those matches Saturday night, even though they technically happened on Sunday. But this final match, final featured match, was a Super Lucha number 1 contender match. 2 players, both using the Firestarter competitor, faced off, the winner getting a shot at the Super Lucha Championship. Candyman Dan versus the Flamefighter. This was another long, hard-fought match. It goes to Crowd Meter 3. The winner at Crowd Meter 3 getting to face the Super Lucha champion, date and time to be named later, Candyman Dan. Congratulations to Candyman Dan for earning a shot at the Super Lucha Championship. That was Friday. Saturday, I'll start off with a featured match for Saturday, the LFF Trios Championship. Just like the final featured match of Friday, this match is a same competitor versus same competitor, Team Valiant versus Team Valiant, although I believe there are slightly different versions of Team Valiant being used. I believe one is using the Sean Loeb version, that's the champion, Screaming Dancy, and one is using the Masked Llama version, that is the challenger, the Cheetah. But the Cheetah takes on the Screaming Dancy for the LFF Trios Championship. Team Valiant versus Team Valiant. Another good match goes to Crowd Meter 2. The winner, new champion, the Cheetah. Congratulations to the Cheetah for becoming the LFF Trios champion. This brings us to our first tournament of Saturday, the Old School Create a Competitor Tournament. 38 players signed up for the tournament. They played in 5 bullet rounds, and then after those bullet rounds, they cut to a top 16. In the opening round, the round of 16, all of the matches were steel chain matches. In the quarterfinal round, all of the matches were steel cage matches. In the semifinal round, all of the matches were dark matches. The finals match was a main event stipulation match. I do not know if the stipulations were standard stipulations or old school versions of those stipulations. I do not have that information. They may clear that up when they report on this on the next episode of Talk of the Universe. Your semi-finalists in the Old School Create a Competitor Tournament were the Foreman playing as Stung and Ethan playing as the old school version of El Blanco Diablo, which is the second version. I am not sure if this Ethan is Ethan Ehrlich, aka Black Star, or a different competitor. I only have the name Ethan. The finalists were Sundown Moon, playing as Above Average Warrior, and the chosen one, Colby Cram, playing as the Heartache Kid. This match ends up going to Crowd Meter 2. The winner at Crowd Meter 2, winning the ability to create a competitor in Supershow the Game, Sundown Moon. Congratulations to Sundown Moon. She'll be able to create a competitor in Supershow the Game. My best guess is she'll be creating Sundown Moon, but we will have to see. Congratulations once again to Sundown Moon for winning the Old School Create a Competitor Tournament. Saturday night, we have the World Championship event for CaptainCon. This is open division, all singles competitors legal, subject to 2020 vision. 40 players signed up for the tournament. There were 5 Swiss rounds, and after those Swiss rounds, they cut to a top 16. In between each of the rounds, and I believe before the first round as well, they had the 2025 SRG Awards, Supershow Awards. They're never really clear on the name of the award show. But they had the awards. They would announce around 6 to 8 awards per break. I'm not going to go through all of those on this show. There will be a special show where I talk about the awards. I'll be joined by Mark Perry, and we will go through the results. This will likely happen sometime early next week, the week coming up, so sometime between now and February 8th. Watch for that show to come out. I will talk about some of the things that were announced during the award show. There was a brief address from General Manager John Calais before he announced the Best General Manager Award, talking about the next contender for the LFF World Heavyweight Championship, currently held by Mike Dippy, the last of a dying breed, with the original El Super Hombre. The announcement is that the next LFF World Heavyweight Championship match will take place in person at Rip and Ship, and the challenger will be the hidden threat, Matt Haas. Matt Haas will use one of his favorite competitors, Sabu, and take on the champion with El Super Hombre live at Rip and Ship Arena. Congratulations to Matt Haas for getting his first ever shot at the LFF World Heavyweight Championship. There were some special awards announced as well. The Company Man Awards. These are people who help out the Super Show community with various things they do. The 3 winners this year: Bob Dunn for his work with the Super Show app that schedules tournaments, that runs tournaments. Ron Frazier for his work as essentially a Johnny Appleseed of Super Show in the South. And Matt Barone for his frequent demoing of Super Show, teaching players the game multiple times wherever he is. Congratulations to them for that. The Steve Resk Award, or the Play It Forward Award, was given to Pat Mulligan, Joel Williams, and Ryan Pierce. Congratulations to them for getting the Steve Resk Award. That's a great accomplishment. And then finally we have the Hall of Fame inductees for this year. The Hall of Fame inductees, in the order they were announced: Mackenzie McPeak, the player behind Mac Attack, I believe former LFF Junior Heavyweight Champion, former LFF Tag Team Champion, great career. She's now an LFF Hall of Famer. AJ Murray, the artist who created the cartoon version of Cyclone. This is the original Cyclone, an alt art version of it. Very rare version. Something collectors are looking to get their hands on if it becomes available. AJ Murray now in the Hall of Fame. Michael Bailey and the entire Bailey family. Michael Bailey's Anarchy's son, his wife Belinda, his daughter Unique, his sons Mayhem and Sin, and I did confirm this with the CEO of SRG Universe, Steve Resk, Nemesis the Raccoon is in the LFF Hall of Fame, along with Anarchy's son and the members of the Wolfpack. Congratulations to the members of the pack for making the LFF Hall of Fame. 2 more people left to announce. First, former member of the legendary and the infamous KSW, Gen Con World Championship Tournament winner, the woman behind Pager Rager, Paige Gillum. Congratulations on being inducted into the LFF Hall of Fame and the final member inducted into the LFF Hall of Fame. So many accolades, former LFF Tag Team Champion, founding member of two very well-known factions in Supershow, the Inner Circle and the Higher Class. He is an owner and founder of SRG Universe. He's a former member of the SRG Universe Ring Crew. He is the LFF General Manager, and more importantly, he is the man behind the Long Island legend JAC. General Manager John Calais. Congratulations to General Manager John Calais for rounding out the 2025 LFF Hall of Fame class. Last announcement I will get into before I go back to talking about the CaptainCon events. 2020 Vision announcement. Probably the shortest one we've had in years. No changes to any competitors, just changes to cards. First, the effect for the follow-up Feeling Dangerous. That effect will now be a once per match effect. I'm not sure why that change was made. I'd be curious to see if they go into it on the next episode of Talk of the Universe. But that has been changed to a once per match effect. And the bigger effect for the cards in the Savor the Moment line at number 16 through 18. Savor the Moment, Crowd Pleaser, and You're Not Ready. When you hit those cards, going forward, you can now either search your deck or discard pile for the lead mentioned in the card text. That's Enjoy Everything for Savor the Moment, Getting Over for Crowd Pleaser, and Ready to Rumble for You're Not Ready. You can search one of those locations and add the card to your hand, or you can play that card from your hand as an additional card this turn. You cannot do both in the same turn. You can do one or the other. You can go find it, or you can play it, but you cannot go find it and play it. That is the change made to those cards. Now, the only question I have about that is for ongoing things like Faction Wars Round 1. Will that change be in effect immediately? Or will that change take effect after the first round? Because there are players who've already played their matches in Round 1 who would have played under the old rules. Will players who are going to be playing their matches after this announcement have to play under the new rules? Or will they be grandfathered in at least until the end of the round? We'll have to see. But those were all the announcements from Saturday night, from the award show, outside of the awards, which again I'll cover on a special episode of the Outlaw Mudcast. But back to the World Championship event, they cut to a top 16. Now, the only stipulation listed on the Supershow app was for the quarterfinal round. The matches in the quarterfinal round were no disqualification. I don't know if that's just an oversight, if those were accidentally omitted, or if there were no stipulations outside of the quarterfinal round. What I can tell you is that the semifinalists in the tournament were the Lethal Endorser, playing as the newest version of the Mortician, and Headband Champion Matt Pineapple, playing as Draculina and Calliope. Your finalists were Simple Chuck, playing as Night Terror, and the Star Maker Everett Stevens, playing as Dr. Mila Mai, with the winner, the Star Maker Everett Stevens. Congratulations to the Star Maker for winning the CaptainCon World Championship Tournament. After the tournament, there were a couple of featured matches Saturday night. The first was for the LFF Tri-State Tag Team Championship. This was a New York Rules match because all of those Tri-State Championship matches are New York Rules matches. It started at Crowd Meter 1. There were no disqualifications. The challengers, everyone's problem. The Dread Pirate Tech Support, playing as Spite, and Everyone's Enemy, playing as the new version of Everyone's Enemy. The champions, the Brain Trust, Boom Pool, the team of Brian, wait for it, Schmidt, playing as Mike Santana, and normally it would be the Italian Bombata, but in this case, the Italian Bombata unable to play, replaced by Shaggy Shark. Shaggy Shark played as Slime Girl. The match ends up going to Crowd Meter 3. The winners at Crowd Meter 3, still champions, Boom Pool. Congratulations to Boom Pool for a successful defense. Following the LFF Tri-State Tag Team Championship, we had a defense of the LFF Tornado Tag Team Championship. Last year, the defense at CaptainCon was a triad match. It's a triad match again this year. The challengers were the Italian Bombata, playing as the Paddock, and Robert the Brain Dunn, playing as Thinky and the Brain. The champion, Simple Chuck, champion with final form, Dick Thunderlips. The match ends up going to Crowd Meter 3. The winner, after this hard-fought match, still champion, Simple Chuck. Congratulations to Simple Chuck for a successful defense. That was Saturday. Sunday. One event for Sunday. It is the tag team event. It's the event with Super Diversity, which I talked about last week. 14 teams signed up for this double elimination Super Diversity tag team tournament. As of right now, the tournament is still ongoing. Again, if I get the results before the episode is published, I will tack those on to the end. But that tournament ongoing, 14 teams currently in the tournament. That's where we are with that event. There was an event that went on throughout the entire weekend. That was the Create a Captain Valoran Warfare event. This was an event where every player had to use a Scallywag competitor, and they were limited to Scallywag finishes, I believe, and the Scallywag entrance. The winner of the event will be able to create a Scallywag competitor in Supershow the Game. 22 players signed up for this event. In the opening 2 rounds of the event, all of the matches were best 2 out of 3 matches. So the 2 players played. First player to get 2 wins advances to the next round. That was for the first 2 rounds, from what I could tell. Single elimination, 1 fall to a finish beyond that. In the opening round, 10 players received byes. The remaining 12 played for the other 6 spots to get to a top 16 in the second round. And then after that initial round with the byes and the round of 16, all the matches going forward, 1 fall to a finish. That's what I understand anyway. Your semi-finalists in the tournament were the Penguin, playing as Deerfield Bullgeyser, and Loudmouth Leo Larynx, playing as Bartholomew Hook. Your finalists were TVA Commissioner Drew Madsen, playing as Blossom Tyne, and the SRG Boss, playing as Marcus Samuel Selmore. The winner, who will get to create a Scallywag competitor in Supershow the Game, the SRG Boss. Congratulations to the SRG Boss for getting to create a competitor, a Scallywag competitor in Supershow the Game. I'll admit I'm a little disappointed in this result. To my knowledge, this would have been the first time somebody other than the SRG Boss would be able to create a Scallywag competitor. So to have the tournament preserve that status quo at the end, that's a disappointing result in my opinion. But congratulations to Steve Resk for winning the Create a Captain Valoran Warfare event. That was CaptainCon. Coming up next week, we'll have Supershow the Game and SRG Universe's next convention appearance at TantrumCon in North Carolina. The only news I have about that, Rowdy Ron and Nick Nimble will be joining the SRG boss at the con, and there will be 3 con-exclusive promos. They are Super Lucha promo cards. That's what I have for TantrumCon. CCC News. The winner of the round 1 match, the first round 1 match between El Gordo Americano, Sundown Moon, Neil the East End Enforcer Smith, and the program was Sundown Moon. Congratulations to Sundown Moon for winning the first match of the 2025 CCC and advancing to round 2. Now, having just won a Create a Competitor tournament, I do not know how that will affect her chances going forward. We'll have to see. Congratulations on making it to round 2. We have the 4 competitors for the second match in round 1. Again, these were chosen at random, just like the first match competitors were chosen. Those 4 competitors are Obsidious, The Dude, Dale Kessel, the postal employee, and the Beekeeper. If the upcoming match is anything like the last match, it will start this Wednesday, February 4th at 10 p.m. Eastern. The poll will go live. People can vote once on the poll for who they want to see advance to round 2. The poll will be open for 48 hours. It'll end Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. I have seen posts and videos from the Dude and from the Beekeeper. I've yet to see anything from Dale Kessel or Obsidious. I hope we see something between now and Wednesday. There's still time for promos and posts to be made. That's the Create a Competitor competition news. The Create a Card competition news. We had the finals for the 2026 Create a Card competition on Talk of the Universe Wednesday night. They had a poll on Twitch for 10 minutes. You could vote in the poll for which one of the 3 finalists you wanted to see win. Those finalists were Overhand Wristlock, Briefcase Shot, and Ring Collapse. Ring Collapse ended up with 4 points, 4 votes. Briefcase Shot ended up with 6. And Overhand Wristlock ended up with 11. So Overhand Wristlock wins. Overhand Wristlock will be made as a card in Supershow the Game. Congratulations to Jeremy Steigerwald, who made Overhand Wristlock, for getting the card into Supershow the Game. The only criticism I have about this, 21 votes total is a really small amount of votes. I feel like it would have been a lot better to put this in the discussion group just to get more than 21 votes. 21 votes just seems incredibly tiny. I don't want to take away from Jeremy Steigerwald's victory because I think it was deserved, but I do wish there was more participation in the final Create a Card competition vote. Congratulations once again to Jeremy Steigerwald for getting Overhand Wristlock into Supershow the Game. Keeping it going with the theme of created content competitions, we had the annual Royal Rumble lotteries take place last night. People received early Saturday morning their entrant numbers, and we have the unofficial winners of the 2026 Rumble lotteries. There were 3 lotteries for the women's winner, 3 lotteries for the men's winner. These are unofficial results, but based on what was posted on the SRG Super Show discussion group on Facebook, and based on the results I saw for the Royal Rumble, here are the people who will be winning competitors, the ability to create a competitor in Supershow the Game from the Royal Rumble lotteries. Those people are James Payne, David Goodman, Colby Cram, Robert the Brain Dunn, The Grump, and Robert the Brain Dunn. Robert the Brain Dunn won in 2 different lotteries. Congratulations to these 5 people for winning the ability to create a competitor in Supershow the Game. The final drawing contest winners that I have are the Fill the Van raffle winners. Here are those winners. Winning a grand pack, we have Drew Madsen and Chris Tapley. Winning a mystery box, we have Jeffrey Fox. Winning a Champion of Kickstarter card, we have Chris Engler. Winning the ability to create an alt art card, we have Chris Breimer and Chris Engler. And winning the ability to create an alt art face card. I'm assuming this is an alt art competitor card. Jonathan Thew. Congratulations to the Fill the Van raffle winners for winning the ability to create cards and other prizes. We have some rules clarifications that were made on the last episode of Talk of the Universe by the SRG Boss. Official rules announcements. For the card Flip the Bird and others like it in that line, the text will be errata to say, when you stop a card, the stopped card has blank text, and you may bury it instead. This is to prevent the card being buried from going to the discard pile first and then being buried. There are some cards, some competitors that have gimmicks that trigger off of cards being buried from the opponent's discard pile. So they do not want Flip the Bird to have that interaction with those gimmicks. They're making the change to that line for that reason. Some clarification on how if stopped cards work. Cards that have text that say if stopped, such and such effect happens. The way those work, when that card is stopped, you resolve the text of the stopped card first. Then you resolve the text of the if stopped card. And then after the text of the if stopped card is resolved, the if stopped card goes to the discard pile. The if stopped card is not considered to be in the discard pile until the text from both it and the card that stopped it resolve. There was a question about playing cards from a location where a card can't be moved from that location. So if there's a card that you could play from the discard pile, but you're playing something like Steel Cage, where cards can't be moved from the discard pile, playing is a type of moving. So if a card can't be moved, it can't be played. The final rule question that came up, if a card is stopped, can it be buried? If player A plays a card, player B stops it with a card that says each player buries one card in their opponent's discard pile, the card that was stopped can be buried by the player who played the stop card. The only cards that don't hit the discard pile immediately after being stopped are cards with if stopped text. They remain in limbo until the if stopped text is resolved. Those were the rules questions from Talk of the Universe. There were also a number of promo cards, prize cards that were shown on the last episode of Talk of the Universe. I would encourage you to check out that episode if you want to see what those cards do. I considered talking about them, but for time, I will not talk about them on this episode of the Outlaw Mudcast. I may discuss them on a future episode of the Outlaw Mudcast. One last thing before I get into the online tournaments and featured matches from this past week. We have an announcement about a future LFF Tag Team Championship match. The next challengers for the LFF Tag Team Championship held by the Crime Wave team of the Centipede and Brian Wait For It Schmidt are the Mott Boys. The Mott Boys, using 64-bit Casey and the Nightmare King, will take on Brian Wait For It Schmidt using Deathmatch King Matt Cardona and the Centipede using the Drax version of Fotista on February 15th. That is when that championship match is scheduled to be played 2 Sundays from the time I'm recording this, from the day this show will be published. I expect we'll see that on Sunday Night Fights on the 15th. Let's talk about the online tournaments and featured matches from this past week. I'll start Monday with Monday Night Fights. This was an open division event. 24 players played in 5 bullet rounds, and then they cut to a top 8. From what I can tell, there were no stipulations until the finals match and the third place match. Both of those were Liger's Den matches. Your top 4 were, in 4th place, playing as Captain CJ Sparra, the Cheetah. In 3rd place, playing as the SRG Mom, Rowdy Ron. In 2nd place, playing as El Gonzo Russo, the New York Phenom, and the winner of Monday Night Fights, playing as the old school version of Cyclone, the Starbreaker, Trey Cantrell. Congratulations to the Starbreaker for winning Monday Night Fights. Saturday, we had Saturday Night Rumble, Janice Judgment, hosted by Mr. Ron Rumble. 7 players played in this open division event. They had 3 bullet rounds and then cut to a top 4. In the semifinal round, all of the matches were tables matches. The finals match and the 3rd place match were both New York Rules matches. Your top 4 were, in 4th place, playing as the Super Lucha version of El Super Hombre, the New York Phenom. In 3rd place, playing as the Italian Bombada, Pride. In 2nd place, playing as Pluto, the Devil's Reject GPS, and the winner of Saturday Night Rumble, Janice Judgment, playing as Sam the Mule, Rowdy Ron. Congratulations to Rowdy Ron for winning Saturday Night Rumble. CaptainCon update. The CaptainCon Tag Team Tournament did not finish at CaptainCon. They will complete the tournament, most likely online, at a later date. I'll give you the results of that tournament when I have them. That's all I can tell you right now. The CaptainCon Tag Team Tournament that started Sunday at noon did not finish at CaptainCon. In CaptainCon related news, I had a brief conversation with the general manager of the LFF Tornado Tag Team Division, Hold the Line Harry. To sum up, he's very impressed with Chuck's defense, with Simple Chuck's defense of the championship. Going forward, there will be no more multi-man defenses for Simple Chuck. Simple Chuck will be defending in one-on-one Tornado Tag Team matches. His next opponent should be the winner of Harry's Tornado Holiday Extravaganza, which is getting close to being completed. I have an update, speaking of championships, on the LFF Intergalactic Championship. The champion, Mr. Cheat, will defend February 11th after Talk of the Universe. That is a week from this Wednesday. He'll be defending the championship against TVA Commissioner Drew Madsen. This next championship match will also kick off the debut of a new intergalactic WrestleRama Federation. So I guess this won't be the LFF Intergalactic Championship. It'll be the IWF Intergalactic Championship. Although that name is subject to change, we'll have to see if that's the final name of the federation. We should learn more about this upcoming Intergalactic Federation over the course of the next few days, weeks. That is per the general manager of the Intergalactic Championship, Dick Thunderlips. One more featured match result. This is only a partial result, but it looks like the Dread Pirate Tech Support has won the New England Super Show Championship. It looks like he used the Captain Kiddo competitor to become the new champion. Congratulations to him on becoming the champion. That is everything I have for you from this past week. Coming up for next week, Monday, we should have Monday Night Fights. It's going to be an Underworld Division tournament. The stipulation for the finals match Monday night, and likely for the third place match Monday night, will be Lumberjack. So if you're going to play in Monday Night Fights, it's going to be a Lumberjack match. We should have Dojo Tuesday night, twitch.tv/SRGuniverse. We should have Talk of the Universe Wednesday night. I don't know if we'll have Expanding the Universe on Thursday, because TantrumCon, according to the website, starts February 5th, which is Thursday. If that's the case, the SRG boss will likely be at TantrumCon, so no Expanding the Universe, and he won't be running a Thursday night event, so we'll have to see what happens with a Thursday night event. This Sunday coming up is Super Bowl Sunday, so will there be Sunday Night Fights? We're not sure. As of right now, I cannot confirm that there will be or will not be a Sunday Night Fights this coming Sunday, February 8th. If there is, I will report on the results on next week's podcast. We will have 2 shows on the Big Picture Premium Twitch channel. We should have Stacked Card Wednesday before Talk of the Universe, and a new episode of Star Power on Friday. One last thing, of course, the next CCC match, Match 2, will start Wednesday after Talk of the Universe, more than likely. JAC is not in the match yet, but when it comes time for JAC to be in the match, either in the third match of the first round or the fourth, I would like to ask all of you to please vote for JAC. With that being said, that is going to do it for this week's episode of the Outlaw Mudcast. I would like to thank all of you for listening, and good day.